Hi guys, I am the Sharp Protogen back with another grounded video. Today we are continuing to gather all of our armor. So, last episode, as you all know, we went over how to get the koi armor as well as how to craft it. Now, today's episode, let's check out what armor we shall be going for. So, we've already done Black Ant. That was one of the sets we already had available to us. I think we've already done Spider and Bee as well as Ladybug. That might actually, I do believe, yes. This is the Spider set. This is the Ladybug set, and then is this the Rotten Bee? Or yes, this is the normal Bee armor set. So with that, we've actually completed all Tier 2 armor sets. Now, next up, that begins our task of Tier 3s. Now, this is not going to be an armor set that I will be making in this series. Maybe if we get popular enough, I will make this full set, because I am in New Game Plus right now, which means that the boss fight to make this armor is really hard. So, I believe today we shall be doing the Wasp armor. So, we'll be making the Wasp Morion, the Wasp breastplate, and the Wasp Greaves. So we're going to need to go farm up a bunch of wasps and lint. So that... Now, these materials, we're going to be able to find these materials in the upper yard. So that's where we'll be heading off to. So we're going to head off to probably up on this porch here, and then kind of off to the side area over here. We'll be in this area of the yard, because on the porch here you can find a mat with a bunch of lint on it for lint rope, as well as the undershed. And then there is a wasp nest around here, and a couple wasps float around here. And because I've actually pissed off the wasp nests, some float around here as well. So we're going to go over to those areas and search for some of these flying beasts. And we'll get back to you guys when we find some. Okay guys, we've arrived up on the porch now. This is the mat I was talking about. You can see that clump of stuff right there? That is a clump of lint. That's what we're going to be needing for lint rope. Now, the one unfortunate side is there is a lot of these stupid dust mites here. So we'll need to go around and stab them all to death. So, oh, yep, and they spit. They're called dust mites for a reason. They spit clumps of dust, which lower your movement and attacking speed, which gets really annoying. Yeah, you know what, I'm gonna mace them. Die. Got some infused ooze. Well, I need dust mite dust anyway. It's probably nice to gather since I use it to make my arrows. What is angering me now? Of course it's another dust mite. Be gone! Okay, I've gone and cleared out some of the dust mites. There are still more out and about, and they're here to be annoying. But here you can see we've got a lint clump. I chop it up. I'm going to get some of this lint. Now, you're going to need a spindle wheel to craft this stuff down into lint rope. But up here on top of the... I should probably show on the map. We're up here on top of the porch, right about here, is where you're going to find it. Now, of course, you do have to worry about these little buggers, which kind of ruin the whole experience, as they're really annoying. But you can find a good amount of lint. Now, lint clumps average drop about, like, anywhere between... I usually get anywhere between, like, 4 to 8 pieces of lint per clump. It averages out at roughly 6 per clump. So don't worry too much, because you shouldn't need a lot of it for this armor set. Yeah, as you can see, I'm getting... There's 7 from that one. Yep, okay, hold on, sorry. I don't like these things. And then Oh, one more. One's dead. And then finally we should have the last lint clump here. And we got... very bouncy. We got 6 lint. So I harvested about... I think it was... about 5 lint clumps, and we got 30 lint, which is not bad. Now, I could have sworn there were 6 clumps on the map. I might have miscounted my lint clumps, but you should get around 6 lint clumps per mat spawn, and it's a pretty good average out for like loot-wise. Now, for the next part, I was running over the recipe, and I found out that you actually need pupa leather for this stuff, which is the later game version of berry leather, if you know what that is. And a good spot that I like to search for it is not down here behind this. I just need to drop down because I don't want to use up the thing. Actually, we're going to have to deal with the ladybird here. I mistimed my parry. But once we handle the ladybirds guarding the little nest area, we should have access to a wonderful... I don't want the head. I really don't. Should get access to a wonderful little under the porch kind of area. Now, you can go back here. There's usually some upgrade rocks, but I've already gathered them, of course. What we're looking for is these things. These little, like, clumps of what look like flesh sitting on the ceiling up here. Yeah, you want these. Now, there's multiple ways to get them down. You could grab a rock from here and just hurl it up to knock them down. Just some kind of force implemented on them is what you want to do to knock them down. So, like rock, bow and arrow, you can throw a tool, something to apply a force to them to get them off of the ceiling up there. It's actually pretty good. That's what you want to do to really get rid of that kind of stuff, is you want to knock it down. So, yeah. Sorry, I'm getting ambushed by ladybirds, kind of losing my train of thought. I just gotta kill them all. Okay. So yeah. If you're not running, if you don't have ranged weapons on you, grab a rock from here, just like throw it up there. It might help if you actually hit it, but yeah, you knock it down. You take your termite axe and you chop chop, and there. Get a little bit of pupa hide. Now, there's 2 ways to make pupa leather from the pupa hide. You can either, if you have a drying rack, hang your pupa hide on the drying rack, and it will, over time, turn into pupa leather. Or, if you're impatient, and really don't care if you have to grab a lot of it, 5 pupa hide at a crafting station can just be turned straight into pupa leather. It is very, very slow, though. Not very slow. It's very inefficient, is what I'm trying to say. Would not recommend it. So I'm just gonna shoot down a little bit of this, and then I will take my stuff over to a drying rack and dry up some pupa hide for myself. And we'll come back to you once I have, once we get to our next material location. Okay, so we've arrived at our next location, everybody. So, this area is the Java-matic. It's a very late game thing. We're not gonna dive too much in depth about it right now. What you do need to know is that under the Java-matic location, there is, what is that? Oh, that's a lab site. Okay, I was wondering what that was. Under the thing here, well, first off, there's that lab site. You're not going to be able to access that until you begin the quest related to the Java-matic. But if you go past the Java-matic storage facility here, and specifically you're going to want to look in this back right corner here, behind it, you're going to be able to find, here, you see that little buzzy boy? That's a wasp. I'm here to get rid of those things, because we're going to need their body parts. Now, I would heavily recommend, if you're handling wasps, to bring some kind of ranged weapon, as there are two types of wasps that spawn here. You have the normal wasp, which is the aggressive kind. It's gonna come down and try and get in some melee hits as you, but it can also shoot melee. It can also shoot like poison darts at you. And then you've got the wasp drones, which don't really like to come down and get in your melee range. They really like to hang out like just out of it, so you have to like jump to hit them. And they focus more on healing than doing damage. You can tell the difference because this is the wasp, this is the drone. They're just a bit pinker. And one good way to find wasps is you want to make note of the wasp nests, the paper wasp nests all over the place. I can't speak, sorry. The paper wasp nests all over the place is really good, because you can also shoot these down. You can either repeatedly throw an axe or use some arrows, but you can knock them down and chop them up for some wasp paper, which I don't think we're gonna need for this recipe. Yeah, it's just wasp shells and wasp legs. Just wasp shells and legs. So that's all we're gonna need for the recipe. So we'll gather up this stuff. And then again, you'll want to map out your things. Like that is a drone. I could tell it was a drone because it's got those pink markings along its side, whereas the normal wasps don't have that. They are purely black. Like that one, that's a normal wasp. See? Normal wasp. There's the drone. Actually, that's a normal one. I'm going to engage. You don't want to try engaging a wasp drone first, as it likes to call in the friends. You can see that attack there he tried to do. That was a poison shot. He has very good aim. You can actually see we actually managed to take one out already. Now this fireworker ant just does not know how to mind his own business, so he just kind of had to die for it. But I'm gonna throw back on this one, and we've managed to get. We've gotten one shell and 2 legs, so it's not great. Like, you're not gonna be getting a ton of this stuff super commonly. Like, this is pretty hard to get material when it comes to at least like rarity. It's tier 3, so it's gonna be some of the best stuff in the game, but also one downside is, you know, it's gonna be a pain to get a lot of, because it's not gonna drop, you know. So that was a basic drop, and then again, you don't want to hit your drones yet, because those, when you piss off a drone, it tries to call over the other wasps in the area, and you just don't want to let it do that, because you're going to get swarmed real quick. Now again, Wasp's only weakness is salty, so if you can, definitely use a weapon with salty. I'm using the Salt Morning Star because its damage type is just salty, as well as it inflicts a little bit of bleed, which helps take down some of annoying air units. So definitely make sure to be using the proper elements when taking out enemies. Like earlier when I was fighting those black ants, I found out the hard way that they are actually resistant to mint, as my mint mallet was not doing a lot of damage because its damage type is mint. So make sure to keep up your damage type and elemental weakness and resistances, as that can really turn the tide of a battle in your favor if you use the proper defense and attack strategies. And then we will be back after we finish gathering up some more wasp parts. I'm actually going to quickly swap off, swap back, as that gave me... Did that give me 6 shells? Holy hell. I didn't get any legs, but I got 6 shells. God damn. Oh. Oh god. That is a Widowling special abilities. We're gonna need to get rid of that. Because they don't inflict poison, they inflict venom, which is a stronger version of poison. Oh, fuck. His fourth ability is a shield plus, which means he's got like a 50% resistance to all damage. So he's gonna take double the amount of hits to just fucking die. You're a little baby, you should not be this tanky. Okay. So we're looking at 15 shells, 6 legs right now. We probably have all the shells we need, since I did manage to get 6 at once. So we can make the Morion, for sure, because that's only 2 shells, which leaves us with 13 left over. We can make the breastplate, as that'll use up 4 and 4, so we'll have 9 shells left over and 2 legs left over. And then for the greaves, 2 legs and 5 shells left over. It's perfect. We have all we need. Alright, let us go back to my base. Well, I'm back to main base because it's also the closest point I have to armory. I should really set something up for main base to armory. Look at the ladybug. Okay. Now, let's do this. So, take out all of this. I need to save this stuff on there. For the actual crafting. No. The rest of this stuff can get put away. So we'll press N to quick deposit. Now, I'm gonna run off, and I'm gonna grab some of this, 9 in particular, as that's how much I need. And we're going to grab, oh, how much lint rope do I need? So 4, none for that. 8. So we're gonna need 8 lint rope. Eight lint rope. Okay. So I'm gonna throw the 9 pupa hide up on the drying racks real quick. You can see it's just gonna hang there. I could devour a million. So we'll need this. So
need a little
how much hide do I need? So 1 for that, 2 for that, so 3 total, and then none for that. So we'll just need 3. I thought we needed like 6 or something. Here's my friend, poor Jester, a little guy. Look at him. Here's Joe.
Joe Mama.
Hello there, Joe. Next up is Jack. He loves to hide. Yes, no, this is Crimson, sorry. This is one of the other guys from the Proto group that doesn't stream with us anymore. And then we gotta find Jack. Yes, this is Jack, the Proto Jack. I name my friends in my worlds. Oh, there goes Jack. Look. Oh, he's in Jester's house now. Okay. Alright guys, we've made it back to the armory. I did some crafting, and we finished getting all the pieces, of course. And here you can see we have everything we'll need for the armor. 3 pupa leather, 8 lint rope, 6 wasp legs, and 10 wasp shells. Now, of course, it's probably a good idea to get a little bit more than just the stuff for the armor. And we'll look into what it does. So, first we'll make the wasp Morion. Careful not to remake multiple pieces, by the way, otherwise you have to go get more materials. The wasp breastplate, and then, of course, the wasp greaves. And with that, we've used up all of our materials, but we do have the full wasp set. So, for the appearance, that's what we're looking at. So, here's what we get for our wasp set. Not a bad look at all. Really liking it. And for each piece bonus, you get charge shot combo. Shooting an uncharged shot has a chance to make your next shot charge twice as fast. So that's really good for like bow stuff. It is also light armor, as it is ranger armor, so it shouldn't increase your bow draws by too much. And then, I am apparently receiving payback.
Scotland forever!
Anyway, back to the armor showcase. So let me re-equip this stuff. And alright, so we're looking at the Wasp Orion set. Charge shot combo. Shooting an uncharged shot has a chance to make your next charge shot charge twice as fast. Light armor. Just a slight stamina increase required to swing weapons. This is from no armor, by the way. So if you were just wearing heavy armor like I do with my roly-poly, it will not slightly increase it past the roly-poly. It will slightly increase it past if you were to wear nothing. And then, of course, the almighty set bonus. Air superiority. Ranged attacks deal significantly more stun damage to flying creatures, causing them to fall from the sky more easily. That's actually going to be really useful against stuff like the Wasp Queen, as well as just wasps in general. Bees aren't too tricky, honestly. They die pretty quickly, so once you kind of knock them out of the air once, they kind of just die. But that's really useful if you really don't like pesky flying creatures like moths, bees, wasps, stuff like that. You knock them out of the air, get some good hits in with your melee weapon. Although it is a ranger set, so you would probably want to encourage you to use a ranged weapon as opposed to knock it into melee range. But with that, that will actually do it for today's episode. We're actually going to set this stuff up. So, boop, boop, boop. And then one final look at the set. I love the historical reference with the Orion helmet here. Looks really nice. That actually kind of looks really comfortable with like how it's all fuzzy. I would genuinely kind of wear that, actually. Like, this kind of looks like slimy a little bit because it's like the eelgrass and everything. Oh, it's probably like dried and properly done and everything. But, I don't know, it doesn't look very comfortable. This kind of looks nice. It's like a drifter kind of outfit. This looks like it would just be kind of like clunky to wear. That just kind of looks like it'd be moist on the inside. But this looks good. I like this. This is nice.
Here is my favorite thing ever. I think about this every day.
Sorry, anyway. That should do it. Sorry, redo. So anyway, that should do it for the episode today, guys. That was the Wasp armor set and how to obtain. Now, I believe next armor set will be going on to our next 3rd tier armor. Let me actually double check what we'll be doing. Because we've got the boss armor. And unfortunately, the Wasp Queen does not have boss armor. She just has the helmet, which is just the Bard's Tutor, which we already have, pretty sure. Yep, the tutor is right down here. Suppose next episode we'll be working towards making the, I guess we can combo the fluffy pupa hat recipe with getting the termite armor. If you guys would care for that. Yeah, I think that would be a good idea, since we don't have either of those, really. We've got the mite hat, but we don't have the fluffy pupa hat. And then the episode after that, we'll start on the moth set, which is going to be the next ranged armor set that we have to work with. And then we'll finish it up with the widow armor, which is going to definitely be an annoying set to grind. But that will do it. That has been the Wasp armor set. I do hope you guys have enjoyed. If you guys would care to, subscribe, but I'm not in charge of you, so do as you wish. And then that is going to do it. So that is the Sharp Protogen, signing off after another episode of Grounded Armor Collection. So see you later, everybody.